and owner of the Empire Realty Group.
And we are Sisters in Real Estate.
Hey, you guys.
Welcome. Oh my goodness. We are here
with another episode of Sisters in Real Estate. As you guys know, I am LaShonda, the realtor.
And I am Nikita Jacobs, your home and loan girl. And we are Sisters in Real Estate. So listen, we're on episode what? 4?
4, yes.
Okay, see, we have for season 2. So we are doing big things around here. I'm excited that we've managed to continue this out through season 2. More to come, but we have a special guest that we cannot wait to introduce her. Her name is Miss Rita Oliver. She's the money strategist, and she's going to be teaching us and talking to us about budgeting. Okay, so Miss Rita, you can definitely say hi, to everyone. And
okay. Hello, everybody, and thank you, Nikita and LaShonda, for having me on your podcast. I love talking about money and helping people to manage money better, because money, when you have money problems, it's usually life problems, and life problems are about money. So if we get those two under control, we're going to have a great life. That's how I feel about it.
Awesome. I love it.
Very true. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we're going to jump into it.
Yeah, because I'm sure she has a lot of gems to drop. I got my notepad ready to write down some stuff because your girl struggles with the word budget. Okay. But I am going to go ahead and start off and give you guys a couple of market stats. Just to kind of update you guys on what's going on in the market. Right now, we're kind of in the beginning season of the biggest time to buy, sell real estate, spring and summer. Yes. So people are starting to, put their money together, budget, file taxes, and use their money to purchase a home. Some people are taking those same advantages and selling their home. So right now, markets like Arlington are just like really, really, starting to warm up and become a very hot area where people want to be, especially those that desire the Grand Prairie, Mansfield areas, but can't necessarily afford the areas. They try to stay in close proximity. Those are the areas that are really starting to see a lot of activity. Multiple offers are going in, especially price points like under 300,000. So 275, 285, well, about 250 to about 290. That's a really, really heavy market where we're seeing multiple offers, not anything crazy where people are offering astronomical amounts over asking, because, we still have the appraisal and all that kinds of stuff. But, it's a market where a lot of people really want to be. And people are, starting to have to compete again against offers. So my advice right now in this market is to not weigh so heavily on being in a specific area, but maybe give a little more weight to other things that will help your family in the transition of a new place. Maybe like I said, something closer, maybe, Kennedale or Everman or Forest Hill or Alvarado, something like that, where you're still close, but you're not just like right there, because you could still get the bang for your buck if you're just right down the street. So, like I said, if you're in that price point where you're looking for something, first time home buyers, that's my passion. You're wanting to be probably under 300,000 with the rates being where they are right now. So just be prepared, go in knowledgeable, talk to your loan officer like Nikita, and then get with your realtor to help you make an educated decision on where and what to do. And even if those areas are multiple offers, just make sure you have a good team that can help you develop a great plan so that you can win in that multiple offer situation. So that's the latest. There are still some great areas. Fort Worth, kind of like the Crowley area, you're able to build a brand new home for under 300,000. That'll be ready late summer, early spring, somewhere mid spring, late summer. So it's not all lost. I just like to keep everybody, up to date with what's going on in the market, because I know Arlington is really, 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 really hot for a lot of people.
And listen, don't wait. We always wait and we procrastinate, and next thing you know, everything is gone or things have changed significantly. So with LaShonda kind of educating you on the market and where the market is, that doesn't mean that we want to scare you away from doing anything. We want you to continue to move forward into buying a home. You cannot, listen, rent versus buying is really different, y'all. You can't, honestly, you're paying 100% in rent. Rent will continue to increase. So you just want to kind of be prepared for that. Think about the long-term reward. At least every payment that you're making is going towards equity, versus every payment that you make to your landlord is going towards their pockets and paying off their mortgage, So think about those things. If you are truly one of those people, I'm not talking to the ones that really don't want to buy. I'm talking to the ones that keep saying, I really want to buy a home.
Yeah.
I really want a home. I really do want to buy a home, but you get scared, right?
Yeah.
Stop getting scared. Step out. Make that plan. Strategize with your realtor, your loan officer, and then we're about to talk about budgeting and how you can kind of incorporate that as well, because you do have to prepare. When you are planning, when you get a plan together, you feel better equipped to go into what you're about to do. So absolutely. I'm super excited about the market and where it's going. Like, it's going into a really positive direction, even with the rates being where it's at. Historically, they've been higher before, so this is still pretty low. The house prices just kind of went up, which we want the house prices to increase, because that's letting us know our homes are appreciating.
Yeah, there's value.
So there's value that's being added to our home. So whenever you have a home and it appreciates, you sell your home, you're going to want to get some sort of profit off of it. You don't want the market just to stay still.
Right.
So keep that in mind when you're out, shopping and buying homes. But yes, there are still homes. They're still, bringing down prices on homes. So it's still some room to negotiate, even though it's ticking up just a bit.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying don't delay. It's still a good time for buyers to get in there and get your home, get settled in, and all that good stuff. So
I agree. And a great way to put yourself ahead of the competition and prepare is to attend home buying seminars.
Yes.
I know, Nikita, you just had one this past weekend. I have one with another realtor partner coming up April 15th. It'll be in the Crowley area, and we talk about all of this, and we kind of just put it in terms and in order so that you can understand it and know what to expect, what you need to do to prepare if you're not already prepared. And then we'll, have experts there that'll be able to kind of guide you and get you started. So those are great things to attend in order to better equip yourself when you are ready.
When I tell you the home buyer seminar that we just had was phenomenal. I brought all my partners out. My team was out and they were ready. They were prepared. They brought the nuggets. They brought the information that the people needed. I had very good reviews. It's so important. You don't have to know everything, but you need to know something. You know what I mean? You need to know something. And so don't get me wrong. That's why me and LaShonda is here. So that way we can guide you. But even as your own individual self, you want to do some research for yourself too, so you can know what you can do. It's important to put some of that responsibility on yourself as well. But ask questions though. I'm not saying you got to go because the internet is full of information, and some is true and some is false. So you still do have to kind of go in and speak with experts and come to some of the seminars, take down what you can take down, use what you can use, and then try to figure out where you want to go from there. But definitely attend home buyer seminars. The one that I had, I will say it was really a great seminar. I literally wanted you to look at from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. And I wanted you to be able to see even the stuff that you don't get to see in the transaction that's in the back end that nobody knows about. You want to kind of have an idea how that process kind of goes. So many people touch your file in the transaction. You have there's already money lost on the lender side, okay? Because they've spent resources, and that's why I tried to tell people even in the home buyer seminar, the lenders want to lend, okay? They're in the business to lend money, okay? So we have those resources available. We try to make sure we can try to get everything approved in advance, but we also have guidelines, that we have to follow. And also that came from 2007, 2008, where we got a little bit more stricter because things happened back in the day where we had a whole lot of foreclosures happening. Right. And so to kind of prevent that from happening in the future, they came up with stricter guidelines to kind of help guide that process and make sure people are not being, lend money unfairly, so
it's definitely more key players in it than just a LaShonda and a Nikita when it comes to the buying process. And I tell people all the time when they say they want to buy and they're like, oh, but I need to do this and I need to do that. And I can't stress enough, talk with the expert first. Talk with the loan officer to see where you are, because if your credit score is good and healthy, if you have a savings, talk to somebody and let them tell you, here's where you are based on what I see, because they can, whatever they tell you they see, the next person's going to see. It's not just one person like, oh, that company saw that, but this company might not. No, they're all going to pretty much see the same thing. So if you have a good and healthy credit score, but your credit cards are high or whatever, and like, I'm going to pay those down to see, talk with Nikita first and just say, hey, I'm thinking about buying at the end of the year. I want to see where I'm at, see if I'm ready. If I'm not, what do I need to do to prepare? What do I need to do to put myself in a position to be able to buy and get the best rate possible? Because I've had conversations where they're like, oh, I want to get my credit score in the 7s. I'm already like in the high 6s, but I want to get in the 7 to get the best rate. And it can get so deep down in the weeds. And I don't like to get in the weeds when it comes to credit, but it's just like, it goes in tiers. So if you're at a 680, 675, something like that, and you're like, oh, I want to get in the 7 so that I can get a better, does it really benefit you to, much like, is it a matter of $1 or $2? Like, you need to talk with Nikita to find out what that looks like. Hey, Nikita, right now, here's where I am credit score wise. Can you pull my credit to see if I get it to a 720 or 750, what does that look like? What's the difference between the two? That way you can weigh out your options like, okay, well, it's only going to be $50, less if I wait till I get to the 750s versus if I do it now. And right now, builders are giving away houses, but in the next 6 months, they may have people knocking at their doors again where they're like, we don't need to give you anything because the houses are selling off the shelf. So don't sit here and do all this stuff and just shoot at,
overthink it. Don't overthink it so hard,
shots out, and you don't even know if that's you sit here and pay down this $5,000 debt when you probably didn't have to, and you could have used that $5,000 towards your closing costs or something like that. So that's the reason I say stuff like that. Let Nikita tell you what she sees, what you need to do, because she's going to be the expert in that situation. That's my spiel. That's my soapbox. But I'm so excited and ready to introduce our guest speaker. I'm ready to take notes. I'm ready to learn. And yeah, let's go. Let's do it, Nikita.
Let me go ahead and introduce Miss Rita Oliver. She's the CEO, founder of Strategies, Options, and Solutions, LLC. She is a certified wealth management specialist. She has a BBA in banking and finance from Mississippi State University and an MBA in management from Amberton University. Come on, Miss Rita, give it to us. And then Miss Rita is also a retired federal government audit director. Yes, she coaches public and private sector professionals' income planning and preparation strategies to retire on time and with financial security. She's the author of the books Disclose Before You Disrobe. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Financial Before You Say I Do, and After the Combination Code Workbook and Journal, which shows engaged newlyweds and married couples how to create their master financial blueprint to build wealth. Miss Rita believes we all can live a life of financial freedom if we change our mindset, behaviors, and actions with our money. Like Miss Rita said, she already kind of told us, she was like, you'll live a better life when you have some sort of plan in place financially, because we know what stresses us out more than anything is what our finances. And I can't think straight properly. I have to be like, Lord, let me go into the throne room on this. So Miss Rita, we're going to let you take it away and give us these goodies that we need to survive.
Okay. Okay, thank Thank you, Nikita, and thank you, LaShonda, so much for having me. And what you all just talked about was so key on everything, which leads into about the discussion with money and budgeting. You talked about that, prices are changing. We have a difference in interest rates now because the Federal Reserve has been raising. He raised them a quarter basis point last week. But still, people have the ability to still buy homes because back in the 80s, interest rates were 18%. So we're really not dealing with anything that's really crazy right now.
Right.
It's just a difference from what we've seen before. But what both of you said, which was key to this whole thing, is you talked about people being prepared for the discussion by coming to Nikita. And then by the time you see them, LaShonda, they are prepared to do this. So the first and foremost step in this is that we have to be accountable, responsible, and liable for our finances. We do. Yes. We do. Because we are controlling it. We're controlling the inflow of income. And that is whether we're working a job or we're an entrepreneur. We can change that income at any time. Then we're also responsible for the expenses, the outflows of our money. And we create our expenses. Our basics of lights, gas, water, electric, all that stuff will be the same. But what we have to focus on too to control our expenses is what I call requested debt. That is stuff you go out and put your name on. Okay?
On somebody. You asked for that debt.
but what the business you all are in, mortgages, that is something that we have to do to purchase a home because people can rarely pay cash for a house.
Right.
But we can manage that. And that's what you were talking about. We all have a responsibility with our money. And when we want to enter into any transaction, and particularly with real estate, you all talked about coming to talk to Nikita. Well, even before you talk to Nikita, you need to put your numbers down on paper. That's starting to see what your budget is. That's the income. What do we really bring into this house every 2 weeks, every month? What is that number? Then what is really going out? And that's getting really detailed and specific on your expenses. And expenses come in two categories, ladies: fixed and variable. Fixed is what I just talked about, the lights, gas, and water. The variable is that requested stuff: credit card debt, auto loans, student loan, and of course, mortgages. Mortgage and auto loan, those are very common because most people, as I said, can't pay cash. But when it comes to credit card debt, we can control that. And as a lender, Nikita, when people come in, that you all are looking at that income to debt ratio, you are seeing what that percentage is, and then to qualify them for however much house they can afford. So we are responsible for keeping particularly those variable expenses, particularly that credit card debt, unsecured debt, meaning an asset is not pledged against it. When you get a mortgage, you've got a home pledged against that. Auto loan, you got a car or truck pledged against that. There is an asset that you're going to own eventually. But with credit card debt, that's unsecured. There's nothing in that. Nothing in that. Now, we can use credit cards and we can use them sparingly because debt is to bridge a gap. We have a bridge that goes over water because the road is not there. That's what debt is for in our lives. And it is up to us to manage it. So when we are setting our budget, we have to definitely be realistic. We got all kind of apps and technology out here today on budgets. But really and truly, you need to pen and the paper. Get simple with it. Get simple with it and get real with yourself about where you're spending your money. And we need to categorize where we're spending our money. We've got our living. We've got our entertainment. We've got money we should be saving for emergencies. We've got money that's going toward to pay debt off. Then we got to look at those categories and see how much of my money is going in these categories. Because I know as a lender, at least I'm thinking, you all don't want to see that payment being more than 30% of that income. Because that lender is saying, I got to underwrite it because I want my money back. I want my money back for this long. So in budgeting, where it starts with everybody, is we have to be honest about our income. With your income, number one, forget about your gross salary because you don't make that. That's what your position pays. What you're looking at is the net income, what hits the bank. And you particularly need to look at that for mortgages. You are qualified on that gross income for what you can afford, but the payment is going to come out of the net. And that's where you got to be very, very careful there with your budget, because you may can qualify for 350,000. And we're talking about what today with a P&I of maybe what, $2,000. Is that realistic?
Yep.
A P&I, the principal and interest. Then you got to think about the taxes and insurance coming out. So depending on, because what you need to understand is if you're making $100,000, that's the gross, your net is probably going to be around 56. Okay. $56,000. So you're talking about maybe little over $4,000 a month here. So if you sitting there with a mortgage payment sitting at $2,700, that's going to kill you every month. And that's what Nikita and LaShonda want you to be realistic about, because they can help you close the deal, but you got to know the deal before you walk in their door.
That's right. That's right.
You need to know your deal. Everybody should know their bank account before they walk in the door. You should know your bank account every day. And you got to be realistic about what you can afford. But if you want to afford more, when we look at the categories in budgeting, then you got to cut down on some of these variable expenses and start putting more money towards saving for that down payment. You should have a line item in your budget for the down payment of a house. You should have a line item for emergency fund, because once you get the house, you're going to need an emergency fund. Okay? Because savings is deferred consumption. It's money you don't spend. And savings should be a line item in your budget for emergency fund. And if you wanted to make that big purchase, because it's going to take money to get into that house, you got to have a down payment and you got to have those closing costs. So you got to have the closing costs. It's not just a down payment. So it's about really sitting down and planning it out, planning it out about what I can really do. Now, there are first-time home buyer programs that will allow you to do what, 3% down, or they'll pay the closing costs. Do those still exist out here?
Yes,
today?
ma'am.
You do have the for 3%, correct?
Okay, so 3%. So if you're buying a house at $300,000, what we're looking at, $9,000, $10,000 for down payment, and maybe about 5 to 7 in closing. So we're talking about $20,000, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is then knowing those numbers, going out here, like she said, on the internet, or even sitting down in a discussion with Nikita to find out what is our range, and then having some realistic numbers and goals to work toward about that. Okay, what can we do here? We know we need $20,000 to get in this house, get in a house at $300,000. So how do we work that out every 2 weeks to be there in 12 months and 18 months? That's your budget. That's then looking at your income and really leveraging it. Do you go work part-time and go get some more money? And then where do we cut back on expenses? And we are making that saving for that down payment a priority.
Right.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. We just got to be realistic, but we got to know before we go.
That's right. I like
we
that.
Got to know. We got to know before we go. And before you walk in anybody's office, you need to know at home at the kitchen table what we need to do and what can we really do. Because you know your activity in your home. You know the bills that you are paying. And when we are paying these high credit card bill payments, that is really detracting from our income. You know, I teach people, you know, it's only 2 factors in this whole game about anything we want to do: buying a home, buying a car, and retirement. Is money and debt. You need more of number one and zero of the other.
Oh, what's that be to life?
This drink on up for us.
But it is the life, LaShonda, and I can talk this because that's the life I live. I don't have any debt. Okay, so and I've had, and this home I'm sitting in now in June be 23 years that I've owned it. I had a house before that, so I did, as an auditor, I learned to go dig for information. So I did a lot of digging before I bought my first house in 1992. Did it through FHA with the 3% down, sold it in 7 years, and bought this house. And I did my due diligence. Rates at that time were 8.5%. But at that time I had some debt, but the credit was okay. But I had 2 mortgages. I had a 30 and a 10, so I wouldn't have to pay that 20% PMI That's something else people have to plan for in the budget. That's part of that payment.
Yes,
That's why having less debt will make it better as you're making that mortgage payment. Because what she said is so true. When you pay that, you're building equity. You are paying for your asset. When you renting out here, renting is throwing money away. Because I can tell you from people that I'm coaching with retirement, if they're going to be, I'll tell them, if you're going to be renting, you got to be ready for an increase every year. You got to be ready for an increase every year. And you definitely cannot take any debt with you.
Right.
You can't. If you're paying rental. But with that, and putting it all together for your budget, people ask how should we do the budget? Should a certain percentage be here? There's a rule of thumb with the 50, 20, and the 30. 50% for expenses, 20% for entertainment, and 30% going to savings. That can work for you, but you still got to sit down and look at where you're spending your money. You still have to look at that. You have to know your numbers. What's my income? What's my expenses? And when you talk about buying a home, number one, I talked about the down payment, saving for that. So when I said have a line item for the down payment as a savings and for emergency fund, because see, the first year you get in the house, you're really not going to save any money because the house is going to require some upkeep. And it's a different upkeep from renting now. Because it's more and it's more expensive. That's in an apartment, you made a phone call and the man comes to fix it. In a house, you're going to call him, but when he comes, you have to pay.
You got to pay. That's the truth. I said it all the time. You can't call the landlord.
No, you can't call the landlord. So with your budget from renting, it's totally different from the budget as a homeowner. Because then that emergency fund, you're going to have to definitely keep it up because things happen in a home. When you buy a new home, you have the 1-year warranty and they will come out and fix it. But after that year, it's all on you. That's and right. You got to have money for major repairs. You've got to think about things down the road now as a homeowner. It's not just the day to day. You got to think about in maybe 5-7 years, I got to replace the HVAC system. And replacing the HVAC system can be $12,000 to $15,000, depending on what it is. So when it comes to our money, we've got to maintain that control. We got to be honest with ourselves, and we've got to do what she read in my bio: mindset, behavior, and action. That's the MBA with money. Our mindset is that we're going to have to change from a renter to a homeowner, meaning that we can't spend frivolously. You may have to rein some of the entertainment in because you want to take yourself and your life and your family to another level. It's going to take money to do that. Because you cannot walk in there to the lender trying to get no money together. You got to have the money together.
That's right.
You got to have it together.
I like that you say that.
Yes, you got to have it together. You can't walk in here telling me, well, we're trying to get it from over here and we're going to get this from this and that one. No, nobody want that. This is a business transaction here. This is a legal transaction. So we got to be prepared, and we can prepare today little by little by finding out the information. What can we really afford? How can we do it? And setting a timetable to be able to do it. If you have the money saved today, yeah, you go ahead and do it. But if you don't, there's still time to do it because there's always going to be a home to purchase.
That's right. And what would you say to somebody who has the money saved and they're like, I don't want to liquidate I don't want to spend all my savings. My mindset as a realtor is, what are you saving for? Which I know we need to have emergency savings, things like that. But when it comes to buying a house, it's like, well, what are you saving the money for if you don't want to use it to buy your house? I think we lost her. She's still frozen. Miss Rita, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Hopefully we'll get her to jump back in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
now. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. And for anyone saving, that's where we need to make the distinction in the budget. Emergency, and then if for home, the money for the home. With the emergency fund, that is for the what ifs, unforeseen circumstances that happen in your life. Tire blows out, medical emergency, something happen. That's what that's for. Emergency, the rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. So if your living expenses are $3,000 a month, 6 months is $18K, $20K. So then once you reach that, you should be set. But then if your goal is to buy the house, if you got over 20K in that savings, then let's take the excess to start putting that toward that house. Because once you get in the house, then what you also can do is then what is determine the amount of money you can save to put in the emergency if you still want to do it. Because people have a mental thing about emergency fund. So some people will feel comfortable at 20K. I've met people that's comfortable at 50K. So it depends. So if they want the home, it's the 20,000 will give them a cushion. Then now it's saving just specifically those large purchases, because we save for three things: emergencies, large purchases, and retirement. The home would be the large purchase. So it's then allocating money to do that. It is just for a set time to do it. Get to the down payment, get to the closing costs, and then once you're there, back to the emergency fund.
Yeah. That's good. And then you're going to build that equity over time anyway. So you're essentially building another emergency fund or expense fund, if you will, but it may not be like moving as fast as, you actually physically or manually saving. But years down the line, you're going to be able to tap into that savings, that equity, to be able to do
Yes, you can. And that's one thing. And I don't know, maybe you guys we can have a discussion on this, is what are you seeing as the trends? Are people still doing a 30-year mortgage? Are they still doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
30 years.
Okay, 30.
I've heard talks of something, what you were saying earlier, the 40-year coming. So maybe they're going to bring back that 30 and 10 or something. I don't know. I just heard it once or twice, but I haven't seen anything. That's Nikita's lane.
That's definitely. Well, I did the 30 and 10 years ago in 2000 because I wanted to avoid paying the PMI because my down payment was 15%. So then I had the majority of it on the 30 and then a little bit on the 10. But then 6 months later, the rates dropped to because I did it at 8.5 and it was at 9. And then the rates dropped and I consolidated the two into one at 6%.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
That's honestly, that's called strategizing. Like people need to understand, like that's how it's supposed to be done. Now, I think California has 40 years or something like that, but they haven't rolled that out across. But that California is a whole different type of market, right? But
California, New York, whole different type of stuff.
Yeah, you have to think about those things long term on what you're going to be paying and spending, And so I think that when you're being smart and you're trying to save something off of your like the PMI or the MIP or whatever the case is that you might have. But in addition to that, like segmenting into what you were saying, LaShonda, about like people don't want to spend their money at all. You know what I mean? And it's like, like they literally don't want to spend their money. But what they fail to realize is that it's not, they think it's free money, but it's like you're going to pay for this in the back end through your interest rate, because your interest rate is going to be higher. And it's just not, you're not going to have an overall good loan like you would if you just save your money and kind of prepare for it. You know what I mean? But that's where the mindset come in play. A lot of us mindset are still stuck on wanting this large purchase for nothing, for free. Don't want to invest in it. And
there is nothing in life that's free.
They'll go on that $5,000 trip, but they don't want to pay $5,000 for their house.
And they don't look at it as it's not like you're giving it away. You're putting it away. You're like, you're investing in yourself. So that down payment is not going toward anything but your house. That the closing cost is them creating, a savings or bucket. So for your future payment. So it's not being something you're just throwing away or that you'll never see. It's just money that you're setting aside essentially for the time.
Right, because part of the closing cost is the escrow to set up for your insurance and your taxes. And the other thing is too, the purchase of a home is a transaction. There are fees for transactions.
That's right.
You pay transaction fee on your credit cards today. It's a fee for the transaction. And this is a legal transaction that has to be recorded because this is the purchase of real property in a state, in a county, and a city. So that it is not giving the money away. The money is there for you. It's to make the purchase. That's people make the purchase on a car. So why would this be different with a home? I mean, you're talking about your livelihood now. And when it comes to home ownership, that is the best thing. And I can attest to that because I'm a single woman. I've never been married. I bought my first house at 27. Then bought this house, as I said, I've been in it 23 years. So then I paid this home off before I retired. So that has given me so much financial security and also mental security. And also in when you have a home, it is going to start to change your behavior. The next part of this is that then you're going to really look at your how you're managing your money and how you're going to spend your money. Nikita said, you ready to hand out $5,000, go down here to Punta Cana, you know, for the all-in resort. And there's nothing wrong with a great vacation, but you have to set priorities.
That's right.
Okay? Set priorities. And I can tell you that I didn't take my first cruise until this house was paid for. I didn't take it. Yeah. Because part of it was I had a lot of debt. I had the credit card debt because once I got in this house, I started decorating the house, decorating me. And then when I'm being honest about it, I'm decorating me, but I'm making the mortgage payment. But then here's the thing that is a great tool, I think, with mortgages. And and Nikita, you can tell me if your mortgage company offers it. And I used it. You know, you do the transaction, you're going to do the down payment, you're going to do the closing costs. Then you get in there and get settled. And as she said, you're building equity. And here's a way to build an equity faster, and I did it, is I did the biweekly mortgage. I did the biweekly mortgage. Now, a lot of people say they don't want to say you can just make a principal payment at the end of the year. Yes, you can, but you need to have the money to do it and be consistent about doing it. The biweekly was great for me because it allowed me to manage it better. I was also paying it when I got paid, which allowed that I knew security-wise the house payment was done. Also, too, when you do it, it's 13 payments, so you're going to make that extra payment. That's going to happen. It just offers as another tool, I think, to allow you to pay it out faster. With a 30-year mortgage, you go bi-weekly, you pay it in 23 years. Okay, that's 7 years. You're building equity much faster because I asked you all about the 30-year mortgage. Because when you do the 30-year, and sometimes that's all people, you know, based on the rates, that's what you can afford, and that's fine. But you still have the opportunity yourself as a homeowner to manage that transaction, how you're paying it off any way you want to, because the majority of the time there's no prepayment penalty for early payoff.
Right.
Correct?
That's true. That's
so
true.
Doing the biweekly, it can help you to start to build that security faster, also allow you to continue back into your saving because you're not making that big mortgage payment at the beginning of the month, that big lump sum. Where if it's $2,500, you're doing $1,250 every 2 weeks. And so I did that because it helped me to pay it off faster. Because as I said, I refinanced from the 30 and 10 to 40 and 2 of 15. So paid on that for 5 years. Then when Texas allowed you to do the home equity, I did a cash out refi, paid out 2 credit cards. But what I did is I put myself on a 10-year mortgage. I did my research and I made a commitment to me that I couldn't go back in debt. So I did the 10-year mortgage. And then I paid it bi-weekly. And then I started paying extra payments toward the principal, which is what you can start doing on your loan. And I paid this loan off on this house off. I paid that 10-year mortgage off in 5 years, 60 months. So then so this is my asset now. This is a free and clear asset that I paid $147.5 for in June of 2000 that today is appraised at over $400.
I believe that.
That's the equity Nikita was talking about.
That's the equity I'm talking about right there.
I can pick up from this.
That's the long-term goal that we're trying to get people mindset to look at.
Right. Because people are thinking about today and next week. You got to start thinking about 3, 5, 10 years down the road. You are working every day, entrepreneur, a W-2 employee like I was. But at some point, you're going to stop working because the body just gets tired. And it's time. I mean, as she said, I had 36 years. But in that 36-year time, and what I want you all to get from this is that we all need to take the lead in our lives when it comes to the money. The L is leverage. That is while you're working, that you're leveraging that money and that benefits, that you're making that budget, you're keeping your expenses low, you living on less than you earn and less than you make, and you're putting money away for that emergency and for those large purchases and definitely for retirement, the area I work in. The E is about executing. It is the plan of sticking to the plan that our expenses will be this. We will manage, we will determine how we're going to do vacations, maybe not once a year, but once every 2 years. Then we will also save and we will pay cash for where we can and not run up debt. And then it's the action. It is our behavior, is that we got to stick to it. Yeah, we may fall off a little bit, but we got to learn to course correct. Okay? Course correct and get back to where we're going and to that destination of what Nikita and LaShonda talked about, that you got equity and you got home ownership. You got a free and clear asset when you look down the road in 20-something years that you paid $200,000 for and now is worth $500 and you own it. That is a free and clear asset in your net worth. That's taking the lead in your life.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. And I think the biggest thing is what you said, that mindset, getting people to change and alter, adjust their mindset is the hardest thing for people to do, because they're like, oh, tomorrow ain't promised. I'm finna live YOLO, whatever. I'm finna all this. And it's like, okay. I mean, yeah, you know, tomorrow
you live to 90 years old and you don't know how you go.
Yeah, because she just said it. Because you don't want to be sitting here 65 years old and you still trying to pay a mortgage. And because you were living that life, you didn't come and talk to me to get yourself ready for retirement. And you having all these payments still coming out at 65 and you got less income.
That's right.
So you can still live the life. You can still enjoy it. It's all about priority. You save for the entertainment in the budget. You just save for it. I don't take a vacation every year. So because there are other priorities. If I'm wanting to save to do something else and I want to pay cash, if I want to do a remodel on the house, putting that as a priority. We are not missing out on anything.
Right.
My girlfriend Val had to tell me one time, because we can, Val and I can shut it down we've done it from New York to Paris on shopping. We have. And Val said to me one day, she said, Rita's always gonna be a handbag out here. As soon as we get one, another one's out.
Another one
and that's what people need to understand. I like a nice handbag. I like a designer stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's got its perspective. Because when you start building up all that stuff, particularly the women listening to me, you start building all those shoes and those purses and everything in your house. At some point in the day, you're gonna have to get rid of it. And for you wanting to buy a house, here's a tip for you: is that for some of that stuff y'all got in there, go on, take it to the consignment store and get you some money and start your house fund.
Yeah. And it's groups on Facebook for like Louis Vuitton and Gucci where they're selling authentic stuff and getting good prices for it. So get on there.
Home, because you can't live in a Louis Vuitton.
Miss Rita, so Miss Rita, can you tell me how can someone get in touch with you if they're needing some more information about strategizing their budget?
Sure.
You
can get in touch with me at my website. That's RitaOliverSOS.com. You can get me on Facebook at Rita Oliver. Search for me. You'll see my picture with my afro. Just DM or message me there. If you go to my website, there's a place where you can leave your name and your number, and then it'll send me a message, and then you'll also get to download my free retirement guide for you. We all have the what I call TO, time and an opportunity. As long as we're above ground and God blesses us to be in his presence every day, we've got the time and an opportunity to learn and do something different. And we have to learn and do something different with our money, because we got to make the money, we got to save the money, keep the money, and we got to grow the money, because you are going to need money for life.
That's right. That's true. You got to have money it costs. Nothing in life is free.
It costs to be the boss.
Everything costs. Well, we definitely appreciate, this was really, really good. And I really hope that, you guys you took some notes. I know I got some notes here.
I sure did. I was like, shoot, give it to me, Miss Rita.
Look, the mindset is, your mindset, look.
Important.
The mindset is everything. You weren't born with it.
Right.
You manage money today how you saw your parents do it, okay? And then as you got different experiences in life, you changed how you did it. And nothing is wrong or right with it. But if you are not in the place you want to be financially, then that means you got to change that mindset. You got to change. And once you change that, because see, mindset is going to then set money expectations and behaviors. And then when you change the behavior, as I said, I was a shopper. I made the 6 figures, but I had $75, y'all, every 2 weeks. And I was paying my mortgage, but I had no emergency fund.
Yeah.
Even though I had a home. So what I'm saying is that you change this right here today. People are making more money today. Cut these expenses out. Put you some money away.
That's
so
right.
when you walk in there to Nikita, you walk in there to Nikita to dictate the deal you want for Nikita.
That's
and
right.
then you have your stuff together. So Nikita's not trying to help you pull it together. So then when you have done the deal and you're securing the deal because of the actions that you've made with your money, because you changed the mindset, changed the behavior, you know the actions to do, then you can shake Nikita's hand, pick up your purse and hit the stilettos on the pavement and get in your car and know your business is handled.
That's right. And Nikita loved those kind of people coming already got their stuff together. She get them an approval within a couple of days because they already got all the paperwork and stuff together.
As long as it's all ready and good to go.
Absolutely. And that's what you want. Is that because you are there to set them up to loan so they can secure the loan, get the loan that you know it'll go through and help, and so they can go to LaShonda to then start looking at the house. Because LaShonda, it's not about the house, y'all. They can find your house.
Yeah.
They can find that ain't no issue. Question: do you have the money to do the transaction?
And are you ready? Are you mentally ready?
Are you mentally ready? Because you need to be mentally ready mindset to be a homeowner.
That's right. That is so true.
You got to be mentally ready to be a homeowner, because sometimes as a homeowner, no, you can't be hitting the clubs to have the lemon. What is it? The lemon drop out here. You may have to be at the house.
Don't take the lemon drop away, Miss.
Well, you may have to make it at the. Well, you may have to make it at home. Going out here and paying somebody $12, $15 for it. So,
that's
true. You know, until you get to a place where you can go do that, where you don't owe anybody anything, and you got the money, got cash sitting to do that. So it's all about our mindset, our behavior, and our action game, and we can change it any day we decide to.
Yes, that is the truth. I love that part. We can change it any day, anytime we decide to. Let me write that down.
Well, you guys, we have her contact information. You can go to her website, RitaOliverSOS.com. And she's on Facebook at Rita Oliver. Just look for the cute fro and the cute glasses. I'm sure she got the glasses on too.
Yes, I do.
And just set up a consult. Can someone set up a consultation?
Absolutely. You can set up a consultation with me at bit.ly/Rita Consult. It goes directly to my calendar, and you book the time.
Awesome. So y'all make sure y'all connect with Miss Rita. Get your budget together so that we can get you ready for home ownership. We thank you, Miss Rita, for being on here with us.
Thank you, LaShonda and Nikita. Really,
I'll be in touch with you for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? As a give back, and it depends on what you want to do. Nikita, when you have your home buying seminars, I'll be glad to come and talk. Awesome. If you want me to, or whatever, to kind of be realistic with people about it, that this is what it's going to take, because you are walking them through the process. Right. But people need to get the realistic picture is that you have to cut some things out if you want to be here.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just for a temporary amount of time, because then once you get in and you get settled, then you can get back to what you want to do.
That's true. Well, listen, we're going to go ahead and we got our small business spotlight that we got to shoot out real quick. And I want to say, I don't know, can y'all see this? Right there. Okay. This is a juice detox. This is with Jazzy Fit. And it's she gives us a 3-day detox. And you can get Go-Go Green. You can get Mighty Mighty Beet, which I think this is what that is. You can get Pineapple Ginger Aid. You can get Grapefruit Fat Snatcher. But anyway, she includes all that into her Jazzy Fit 3-day detox. Phenomenal. It really tastes good. It's not something that's gross, and it's not heavy on your belly, so when you're doing your detox, it's not like, gotta go. It gives you some warnings, okay?
Get the church finger.
But it's delicious. She's been doing it for a while. She's an entrepreneur, and I definitely wanted to shout her out. She has her how you can get in touch with her is, I think it's Jazzy Fit Mixologist. Hold on, let me make sure before, I don't want to mess this up. Hold on. I had it written down too, and I just like shoots. Miss Rita had me going. I was like, come on, Miss Rita, with the
And Jazzy Lady Mixologist. That's
I see it. It is Jazzy Lady.
Yes, Jazzy Lady
on Instagram.
She also does bartending and stuff like that too. She has her own drinks on that part. It's called Jazzy Tales. So hit her up and make sure you let her know that you saw it on Sisters in Real Estate, and who knows what she might do for you. So I do appreciate Miss Oliver for coming in. The money strategist, she gave it to us, y'all. She really did, and I couldn't be any happier about sharing this information, because the whole purpose of this is to educate people into this process, in changing our mindsets to understand the value in being a homeowner, and making sure that you can be a homeowner. You just have to prepare for that part and don't be afraid of it. So you can't be afraid of your finances. I know sometimes we just want to take a little peek because but you have to take some accountability and ownership, And like you said, if you need to get a second job to save for that down payment, you can do that, and just kind of work that thing out, because it'll be better the long term. But we're gonna go ahead, and we went over on our time, but Shonda, I'm gonna give it to you, because you're the one who takes it away for us, okay?
Absolutely. I again just want to thank you, Miss Rita. I'll be in touch with you. You guys reach out to Miss Rita to at least get a consultation going, see how you guys can best work together to accomplish whatever goals you have financially, to prepare you for whatever it is that you're preparing for. It doesn't necessarily have to be buying a house. Being financially literate is important throughout your life, not just, buying a home. You want to make sure that you're on target, maybe to build generational wealth for your family. Or, you might want to create yourself a situation where you can live more abundantly. Whatever your situation is, I definitely trust Miss Rita, the money strategist, to get you where you need to be. We're going to sign off. Make sure that you're always empowering each other.
Embrace your true self.
And evolve on your journey. We love y'all. Peace out.
Thank y'all so much.